guys, welcome to my art channel. Thanks for stopping by to make some art with me. For more free art lessons, you could press the button below and subscribe right there on that red button. And I will see you really soon. Now let's get to making some art. Bye-bye. Hi guys, welcome. Today we're going to do one of my favorite projects, and that is paper lunch bag stars. These are a lot of work, but when they're done they are super cool. So I'm really excited to show you how to do this. Let me put this away and let's get our materials. You will need 7 lunch bags. They could be the brown paper lunch bags, which is what I used, or the white ones would be fine also. But they're the ones that have the flaps on the bottom. Watercolor paints. You can use markers for this. You can use crayons, crayons, markers, anything you want. I'm actually going to do it with some watercolor and some crayons. If you're doing paint, of course you need some brushes and some paint water. You'll need a scissor and glue stick. I just want to let you know ahead of time that this project, because we're working with 7 bags, we're going to be doing all 4 sides. It does take a little bit of time, and sometimes it can be like, oh, that's a lot of work. But in the end, I promise it's worth it. So what we're going to do is, when we make the stars, what's going to show mostly are the little sides, and on the front part, the sides of the front and the back of the bag, not the middle. The middle and the bottom, we're really going to be putting glue on. So if you're getting tired when you're painting this, keep that in mind, that the middle of the bags and the very bottoms are going to have glue on them. So I'm going to get started and show you how I do this. The best way to approach this project, if you look closely, I have used a lot of different types of lines, wavy lines and zigzag lines and crisscross lines, some circles, some scribble lines, maybe dots. I didn't go in and paint as I was painting designs or pictures or anything. I went right in because what you want to focus on is getting bold color, because it's the color that's going to stand out and it's going to be harder to see your designs. So with that in mind, I'm going to get started, and the way I do this is I go in with some bright colors and I just make some general, kind of marks, and I'm just going to concentrate on like the sides of the bag and not really the middle part. I'm going to let this dry for a moment, and I'm going to go to my next bag. So it's kind of like assembly line or art ninja. You want to paint really quickly. So this one I might be doing straight lines. That away, and I'm gonna go, I could change colors, maybe I'll do a blue, I'll do some zigzags, so I'm just going for basic patterns, something really simple that I could do quickly, because we're using 7 bags with 4 sides, so that's a lot of painting. I'm going to put this aside over here. And I'm just going to do a squiggle line. I'm going to let this dry for a minute. Now I have done some of the bags ahead of time, and you will see how I did them. Lots of crazy color, like an art party. And I did all 4 sides. I did do, when I painted these, I did just go right over the middle because I was working very quickly. So I'm going to put those aside. These, I'm going to add a second color. I'm going to do for each one about 3 colors, but I just wanted to give them a minute to dry before I went to the second color. So I'm just going to go quickly and get some crazy colors, bright colors. You can go with a color scheme if you wanted to just do, you know, red and green for the holiday, or if your favorite colors are purple and pink, whatever. You can do it however you want. I'm just doing lots of multicolor. And these are nice for the holidays, like Christmas. They make really pretty decorations, but they're also really pretty all year long. So you see, I am going quite quickly. You don't have to go as quickly as me. I'm doing it to save time for you while you're watching this video. You can take all the time you want. You don't have to do lines. You can paint it any way you want. I'm just showing you how I did it quite quickly. If you're doing this at home and you have time to let everything dry in between and take your time doing this painting, that's awesome. Okay, so I did these 4 bags, but now I have to let them dry a little bit before I get to the back. So I'm going to wait for these to dry, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to finish them off camera, and I'll come back and show you how to put them together. In between each side that you paint, you do need to give it a little bit of drying time. I'm using watercolors here. If you're not using paint, then you don't have to worry about that. So I need to let the watercolors dry just a little bit. They dry pretty quickly before I go to the next side. This one looks like it's already drying, so I'm going to go so quickly. And you see this flap here? I'm not going to bother painting on it because there's going to be glue on that. And I'm just going to start again and do some quick colors. As bright as I can get them. Put it aside. This one, use another minute. This one looks good. Now I'm going to do some diagonal lines. Just dry it off a little bit. That's good. Watercolor, if you don't use too much water, it dries really quickly. Maybe here I'll just do some dashed lines. Okay, and I'm ready to go to my second color. And you could do 2 or 3 colors, or as many colors as you like, really. Depends on how much time you want to spend. Completely up to you. Have fun with it though. It's fun to paint and color. And I love the way the different designs are just so bold. Now I'm only going to do 2 colors because I'm going to go back over these when they dry with my oil pastels. So I'm going to open my bags so they dry out on both sides because now I have to do those sides. Everything's still wet, but I'm working quite quickly. And I'm just going to make lots of different colored lines. If you're using watercolors, if you get them wet and let them still be thick instead of really watery, you'll get more vibrant colors like that. Let that dry because I'm going to go back with another color. But I think I'll do some purple on here too. And I'm not really using a lot of water on my watercolors, and I think that's also making it go quicker because I don't have to go over them too many times. Do kind of S line there. Do some X's. I think on this side I'm going to do some dots. I haven't done dots yet. I've got all my sides covered. I'm going to go for a second color on each of them. I think neon colors or fluorescent colors would look really cool on here. Now that all of my bags are painted, I'm actually going to go back over them with a little bit of Cray-Pas just to make the colors really pop. And if you are going to use Cray-Pas, just a little note. Because they're oil-based, make sure you don't get them in the areas that you're going to be gluing, which is going to be the bottoms and the middle of your bags, because it makes it very hard for the glue to stick. So I'm just going to take some really crazy bright colors and I'm going to go over them. Just the painting that I've done since everything is now dry. And if you've noticed this whole time, I haven't worried anything about perfection. I'm just kind of going crazy, putting down lots of color and just like really enjoying the process of getting that color down. after doing a few of these, I know that no matter what design I do, as long as there's lots of color, it's going to look really cool. So I'm just going to go very quickly. And add, I just like the way the Crayons just give that extra little burst of color and also a different kind of a texture than the watercolors, because the watercolors tend to dry a little bit lightly and be kind of translucent. I think I just have to go over these 2 bags really quickly. And I'm just going to double check and make sure that I have these small sides, because those are the things that are, those sides are what are going to show the most in your finished star. Okay, and this is just my last side. It's not very colorful. There we go. And I think we're good. I just found this really bright red and I love the way it looks, so I'm just going back quickly over with the red. Because it really pops out, it's really bright. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to collect all the bags and make sure they're all facing the same way. And just give another check, make sure you have all your sides done. So we're going to take the bags and we're going to just put the side with the flap down, because we're going to glue, it's easier to glue on this side. You're going to take your glue stick, and I'm actually going to draw a line and show you. You don't have to do this, but I just want you to see where the glue is going. We're going to draw an upside down T with the glue. Okay? So on every bag, and notice the flap is going to be on the back. I'm going to take my glue stick. And with the glue, you have to work quickly, because if you're taking your time to put the glue on, by the time you finish getting all the way up to the top here, this glue will be dry and it won't stick. So you have to kind of move a little bit quickly. I'm doing like little circles and I'm getting in the middle of the bag really quick like that. See my glue? And then I'm going to take my next bag and with the flap side, because I always want the non-flap side standing up, I'm going to put it right on top. I'm going to make sure that the bottoms are lining up because the openings have to stay together and the bottoms have to stay together. And I'm just going to push it down a little bit. And you'll see that it sticks together. So once I do that, I don't want to play with the bag too much. I want the glue to dry. I'm going to go to my next bag and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the bottom and then I'm going to go down the middle. Just like that. What did I do? There. I'm just going to press it down, double check that I did the right side. Yes, it's all the openings are here, and I could do the next bag. So I'm putting the glue on the side that does not have the flap. Putting it down the middle. Whoops, I went a little crazy there. I have my upside down T, and I'm going to glue it onto the side that the flap is sticking up. So the glue goes on the non-flap and it goes on the flap side. The flap side is up. I have my T and I'm going to glue it so the flap side is up. I just want to check and make sure my bags are lined up nicely on the bottom. And double check here. Ooh, good. Okay. And I have my last bag. Okay, once your bags are together, you don't want to play with them too much, but you do want to just check and make sure that they all open and they're all glued together. Like that. I'm going to close them. The next step, you're going to need a pencil and a scissor. You will need your glue stick again, but let's just put it aside for the moment. On the bag, on the top of the bag, about 2 inches from the top, you're going to draw a point in the middle. Like that. See how I drew a point? It's about 2 inches from the top of the bag, right there. From that point, you're going to make 2 diagonal lines. You're going to make the letter V, and it's going to go to the sides of the bag. Okay, and you want it to be really wide. Let me just make that a little darker so you can see. You don't have to make it so dark. You just have to be able to see it to cut it, but I'm going to make it dark for you. So it almost looks like the top of a house. But notice it's not really narrow and the lines go off to the side. Okay, so now you're going to use that as your guide. And you might need a little, you might need better scissors. I'm not sure if these are even going to work because you have to cut through 7 bags. You're going to cut right on those lines. There we go. Here you have some, I don't know, garland. You can use it for some other type of project. It's nice papers. And then just put that aside for now. And once you have this, you're ready to open it up completely. See how colorful that is? All the different lines and crazy pops of color. So next thing you're going to do is you are going to glue here and here. And then we're going to have to hold it with our hands and kind of press that glue together. So let's get our glue stick again. This time you will be gluing one side, will have a flap. And I just do recommend gluing both sides because this is the support of the whole star. Okay, so I glued both my sides. I'm going to put my hands in the bag and I'm going to just hold it together like that. And then hold it for a minute, just make sure it's sturdy. You can also staple that last piece together. That'll keep it together. This is a good place to actually, if you have a hole puncher or a scissor, you can make a little hole, and that's where we will add our yarn. I forgot a piece of yarn, I'll be right back. So I'm just going to string my yarn through that hole. If you have a hole puncher, it's a little better, but that's okay. And depending on where you're going to hang your star is how long you want to make your string. And there you have it, your paper bag star. I hope you had a good time making this. I know I did. I've made dozens of these and I still love doing them. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.